Hey, welcome back to Basin Motorsports. So today we are off-site doing a little recon and delivering a tractor. So my in-laws don't really care for snow anymore, so they head south for the winter, and well, their tractor with the big snowblower on it wasn't done out of service by the time they left. So we had to go pick it up this week, and kind of got late in the day the other day when we got it home. So we're off this morning, getting it off the trailer, letting it warm up a little bit and all that, and then we're gonna go check out the El Camino. So if you remember back a year ago, I had mentioned that my father-in-law had a 66 El Camino that was in pieces. It was kind of a restoration drag car, and it kind of turned into more like just a cruiser. Well, he planned this year to put all his time into rebuilding it, and then got really busy with work and never got to it. So my brother-in-law, his son, or my wife's brother, however you want to look at it, he and I are going to rebuild it this winter as a secret to him, to my father-in-law, and have it ready to go by April 1st. That's the plan. So we'll get this tractor moved, and then we're going to go inside here in the garage behind, and we'll go in there and I'll show you kind of the project as it sits, because I need to kind of see the schedule of what it needs to be able to put it together. So let's get this tractor out of the way, and then we'll get in there. All right, a little bit more light. Definitely got to get some washing done in this thing. So here's what we're kind of looking at. Obviously, there's a second car in here, so we'll need to kind of pack around it. But the El Camino is there. Man, there's so much stuff in this garage. Everything is kind of here. So he's unpacked a lot of the stuff out of here. It's like the old Krager wheels are still good shape. Tires are holding air. Bumper needs to be, tail lights, the trim on top. Bed's in good shape. Good plate alternator.
There's some glass laying on the floor, so I'm not sure if that's the side windows or what.
That's probably the door windows, yeah. That's fine, that's fine. Interior, yeah, we're basically starting from scratch, which will be easy just to vacuum it out. I know he wants to replace these seats. He talked about doing a console eventually, but that's going to be after we actually get this thing going. Now, all right, so in the engine bay, you can kind of see everything's missing, which is okay. I know they did replace, or not replace, but they took the manifold off and everything to check out. That's why there's towels under everything, just to kind of look down the bores to make sure everything was good. You know, obviously the chrome is pitted a little bit, but yeah, it's all there. Just need to be most of the accessories put back in. Let's see, everything's good. This will be a fine looking car. Okay, so everything's kind of out of the way. You've got pieces and boxes. You've got your HVAC, air conditioning pieces. Yeah, this won't be so bad. And then the worst case, we have to pull out the old Vitara here, back it out, so we have the space, which they said was fine if we needed this garage. All right, so the plan is going to be that my brother-in-law and I are going to figure out when he's able to come down. He took the engine apart, so we're going to basically put it back on him to put the engine back together. But if I step out a little bit here, you can kind of see the Elco. Ooh, that is really bright. The Elco is kind of in pieces, so what we'll do is basically I'm going to back out this other vehicle. We'll get everything out of the way, and we'll start laying out parts, basically like an assembly line, so we can figure out what goes where. And then I know how to build a car from basically a shell. My brother-in-law's done multiples the same way, so we'll figure out when he's going to come down, and I'll spend some time ahead of time doing some cleanup and getting everything ready to go. So, you know, we don't really need a heater, like this big heater down here. We don't really need that on the floor. We need it kind of out of the way. So, oh well, it'd be nice to have some heat in here. So I'll bring my DeWalt back over, and we'll get this sucker hot and ready to go and cleaned up. So stay tuned for that, and we will get that going. The Elco will be done this spring, so stay tuned. All right, so it's been about a week since I filmed the El Camino, and I've been doing a lot of thinking this week. So I think I'm going to pass on the Aero Coupe and the next wide body build. The last 2 years, I have really spent a lot of time building that car. If you've watched all, gosh, I don't know, 100-something episodes of it, you know I've spent hours, like, I don't know, 500 hours, something like that. And I really haven't enjoyed the car. I know I took it out to Bonanza last year in July, a couple cars and coffees, and then I took it out to Benefit for the Basin in September, late September. This year, I really want to get a lot more road miles on this car to figure out the suspension. So for the wide body, the next wide body, I'm going to pass on that. I know between putting the El Camino together the next 3 months or the next 2.5, something like that, it is going to take a whole lot of time that I really just don't feel like I have. Then you got the Gray Lady that is going to be, really, it's not going to be so bad. It's going to be a lot of body work. And then it's just going to be vinyl wrapping it, and it's not even going to be as bad as this, just because there's not that much to do. It's not so curved. It's not everything else. A lot of disassembly, a lot of body work. It's going to be throwing some money at it for parts, and then we'll just put it back together and put it up for sale. So between the El Camino, the Gray Lady, the 86 hatch, and then I'll do the bunch of the suspension on the wide body this year. And I think that's going to be it. I really want to spend a lot of time out at events this coming year with the wide body, whether it's Optima, whether it's Good Guys, local SCCA, anything like that, just at its shows. I really want some seat time. So if you guys are interested in the wide body, don't give up on that yet. I just don't think that this year is going to be it with 2 builds plus some additions here. I think that's going to take up a lot of my time. And then beyond that, I'll tell you the last thing I really want to do this year. I had mentioned before doing a 408 stroker. I've looked at the crate engines. I think the cheapest one I found is about $8,000. And I don't know. I don't know. I think I've done so much on this that I'd be kind of not doing myself justice if I went and bought one. So I think I'm going to build one. So I started looking on Craigslist today. There are 2 or 3 engines out there, so I need to do some research on what is the best model years. Seeing the 69 to 74 says they're higher on nickel and they hold a lot more power. But I'm going to stay naturally aspirated, so I'm not going boosted or anything else yet. And I think if I could, a standard block can hold 1,000 horsepower, that's plenty. That's more than I ever actually really even need to think about. So then, I've also seen the F4 TE, I think it is. It's like the 92, 93 model year going forward, or the newer pieces to that. Those are roller compatible. So I've got a line on a couple of those that are 92, 93 EFI already, and I'd like to stay EFI on this, whether it's stock computer, some kind of other thing with the harness, or just completely getting rid of it and going something like Phytech or whatever else. Still in the works. You guys have suggestions, let me know. I know there are a couple guys out there with YouTube channels that are doing 351 builds. Definitely going to check them out, ask their questions, and there's also some people on Instagram that are running them that I will definitely try and get some secrets out of if they're going to give them up. So guys, thanks for your time today. El Camino is coming back. Give me a little bit something different for the channel. And beyond that, what's 2020 going to be? I don't know. But I'm going to do a separate video for what I want to do in 2019. That'll be a lot more with metrics and everything else. So stand by for that. But thanks for watching this, and get ready. El Camino, the 86, and the 80. It's going to be on this year. See you next time.
turn it up.